When you get enough, do it right.
Well, they tried to swing it out left into the flat, complete open field tackling.
And they played that one like a great boxer. They were on their toes on that one. They weren't back on their heels reacting to the play. No, they saw it, came right for it, and made a nice tackle for lost yardage.
A dump down to McKinnon. Call it a gain of 5, and that's going to make.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
On third down, Bradford. A dump down to McKinnon. And brought down, but the juke, the very juke gives him the first down yardage there.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
Now McKinnon. And he'll get this out past the 45 to the 47. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. And after the play on the ground, that brings up 2nd down here.
And once again, leverage wins. The offensive line, lower than the defensive front. They moved them and found some good space for the guy carrying the ball.
And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49.
2nd and 1, and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the first down.
First carry of the game here for Matt Asiata. And he's brought down. It'll go as a gain of 10 there. And that leads to a Minnesota first down.
It's really come into vogue to talk about the different gaps that the defense tries to attack in an offensive line. And most of the time we're talking about blitzes. How many times have you heard double A-gap blitz? Well, where is the A-gap? It's the space between the center and the guards, either side. So when you're having a double A-gap blitz, that's 2 guys coming through that gap. In this situation, though, that A-gap wasn't open for the defense to exploit. The offensive line took care of it, protected it, and moved the defensive guys out of the way to allow for that nice run.
They'll try to throw now. Bradford. And this is caught. Touchdown, Vikings. Laquan Treadwell with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Vikings are able to make this a close game again. Well, Treadwell had a heck of a career at Ole Miss, and now he has that first National Football League score.
And that has to feel so sweet to him because, remember, his junior year at Mississippi, he broke an ankle, and people are wondering, would he be able to make it back and be the same player he was before? Not only did he do that, he added to his game. Not the fastest guy straight line, but great ability to separate at the end of a catch and make those contested catches that keep drives alive.
And the Cardinals offense here ready to take over. And that last drive, it was all about the ground game, ground and pound.
And I don't care how we're playing the game these days, offensive linemen still want to fire out and smack the guy opposite them and move the football on the ground. They feel better about that. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to play, and that's how they got it done.
Yeah, they got it for a touchdown last drive. Let's see what happens here.
Well, partner, I guess that answers the question about whether they're going to sit on it or not.
It does. Now we'll see if they try that again.
Yeah, I think what we find on plays like that, when you take that shot, if you're unsuccessful, then you go way more conservative to finish the half, you know? I think that's the way they'll go.
Making the stop there, Daniil Hunter. So they run it on 2nd down. Now let's see what 3rd down brings here for the offense.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height, sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
On second down, Palmer. And that is incomplete.
Offense.
And that right there will set him back a bit on the offensive holding penalty.
And you know who you want to pressure after a penalty like that? The guy who just committed the foul. You want to see if he's going to keep his head down or if he's going to get his head right back into the game. I'd send a blitz at him right away and see if he holds up.
And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. Terrence Newman making the tackle.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they have
Palmer's hit, fumble. He loses the football.
plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And they're going to need another score. Got one last time, but still down here.
When you're playing catch-up, every possession becomes crucial, doesn't it? It's vital. Get back out on the field, punch in the end zone again. They know it's not easy, but what they do have going for them, they did score the last time. They think they've got a good formula working.
And what about the defense?
Well, now you're just saying to yourself, okay, we gave up a score last time. What adjustments do we need to make to slow them down now and get the ball back for our own offense? Is it more pressure? Is it more zone? What do they have to do? They're trying to figure that out themselves.
We'll see if they can figure that out right here. Call it a gain of 3, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you're wanting to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
McKinnon, and he maybe makes it back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
And frankly, Brandon, we're talking about things I'm not sure we ever thought we'd talk about in the NFL. At the linebacker position. A lot of these guys in college, they were safeties. They moved them up to outside linebacker to combat the spread offenses, and now we're seeing it in the NFL. Those same guys using their speed to make plays in the backfield, similar to that one.
Good blocking there, nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. And the Cardinals, great field position to start this drive as they take over 1st and 10. The Cardinals offense now works their way back onto the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play. Now, that's the type of play that'll fire up the defense. Hold them to 1 yard on a 1st down run. It'll be interesting to see if the offense decides to press the run at all, or if they'll abandon it now after gaining only 1 on that play.
The tackle made there by Linval Joseph. And now on 3rd down, they'll need to get it to the 36 to pick up the first. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. More from Minneapolis after this. A reminder that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll check in with Larry Ridley in Orlando with highlights and analysis of this first half of play.
And I'm going to check in with a heater.
I'm going to be right there with you, partner. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. 1st down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is it not? With his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing it over the middle, he can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play, but what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
Still second down.
And the offense behind the chains here a touch on 2nd and 11. On 2nd down, here's Palmer. And Nelson's got it here right side. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down. Still in search of the 1st down after that last completion.
Well, there really wasn't much there, but a completion is a completion. A tough 3rd down awaits them.
Throwing is Palmer. In the middle of the field, he's got Nelson. And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. So it's a 7-play drive, but it stalls out in the end.
Let's credit the defensive front 7. They were a little leaky at the start of the drive, but they stiffened toward the end.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Minnesota. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
On 2nd down, Bradford again. He's got it complete to Stephon Diggs. A really nice gain of 25 yards. He had time, was able to survey the field and find a soft spot in that zone coverage.
And that's where it gets difficult for a defender, Brandon. You go to your spots on the field that you have to cover, and when the offense finds an area that you're not in, that's where they throw the football.
Caught on the right side by Treadwell. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Laquan Treadwell with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
Partner, they're less than 2 minutes to go in the game, which means that this challenge was initiated by the fellas in New York.
And if you're the coach, you're thinking, thank you, New York. They'll try to run with McKinnon. And he'll get in. Touchdown, Minnesota. Jerick McKinnon with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Vikings have made this now a 1-score game.
I think everyone in the league talks about finishing, don't they? Doesn't matter whether it's a quarter, a half, a game, a series, whatever. But they're finishing the first half in fine style, putting that one in the end zone.
They did, and they didn't leave much time on the clock either. Well done. Take this across the 25, couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. So we have reached halftime with a visit. Well, that came a little abruptly here. So working on my apple up in the booth. Hang on here. Let me spit this out. And we can get to the 3rd quarter now. J.J. Nelson now to return. And he'll take this one near the 25. Call it the 26-yard line. So here's the Cardinals offense now as they get set to start this 3rd quarter. They have the lead now. They'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the 3rd quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. 8 yards there on the carry, and now they're left with a much more manageable 3rd and 3. So second down was a run play. Now let's see what they do on third.
Boy, where would these guys be without his performance on the ground? That puts him over 100 yards now for the afternoon, and I tell you, he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes along.
Dumping it off for Johnson. And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the first. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to take this one up only to about the 44-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Let's give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They've been able to move the ball really well on the ground the entire game. And while that wasn't a huge one, that's okay. They'll take them in short, steady bursts.
Get ready.
Now Palmer to throw on second down. It's brought in complete. It's John Brown. Touchdown, Cardinals. John Brown, his second touchdown on the season. And the Cardinals will extend their lead.
I know these wide receivers are about flash and dash and high-flying plays, but a good number of them played running back at some point in their career, and that's how they finish off a lot of their big plays, run after the catch.
And this time he finishes off the big play in the end zone. Now Catanzaro after the touchdown to kick it away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and that'll lead here to a third down.
If you're running out route, it's likely you're going to end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging.
And he'll be grabbed from behind and slung down like a rag doll. Frosty Rocker coming in to drop him for a loss of 8, and it'll be fourth down. Defensive end gets in there that time. They were in a 4-3. What's the responsibility of the ends versus the tackles there, Charles?
Well, most of the time when you talk about the ends, they're your pass rushers. They're the guys that you turn loose to try and get to the guy who's going to throw the football. The tackles, usually more of the run-stuffing variety. But the way this game is advanced, you're wanting a little bit of everything out of all of your guys. But let's just go ahead and break it down and make it simple. The guy who's the right defensive end versus a right-handed quarterback, that's the blind side. He's going after the quarterback. He's going to put him on the ground.
The Cardinal offense now making their way back out onto the field. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good, so they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan and thought there were some holes in the defense, and